It's recording. Shem. Thank you. And he was one in the whole world on one side, and the rest of the world was on the other side. And he didn't care. He didn't care. He didn't try to find favor in anyone's eyes or to make brownie points. Talking about Avraham Avinu, where he had his convictions, he had his belief. He was the only one in the world. Avraham Haya Echad, the Navi says he was one, and it didn't bother him. He didn't care. He didn't say. He wasn't like wishy-washy. Well, the trend is this way. Well, everyone's doing that. Everyone's going there. Everyone's dressing. Nothing. It's just a deep conviction of a deep-seated faith that Abraham had, our father Abraham, and that we have from him. That we're like we can like. It's like a reason that we eat salmon on Shabbos. Salmon is the only fish, that swims upstream. You know what I mean? And usually we just go with the flow. Everyone's doing it. It's like least resistance. You just why fight it? And yet the salmon fights it, and we have salmon on Shabbos, and Avraham Avinu fought it, and he was one. And so we can be one too. We don't have to be afraid to please. I mean, we want to act pleasing, but we don't have to be afraid of. Because we have this strength from Avraham to do what's right.
Oh, so we always go upstream, you mean?
Yeah, to follow our conviction.
Right.
Well, we don't have to follow the right. We don't have to follow.
We don't
like
have
the
to
salmon.
follow the stream. We can go upstream with the struggle. We can do it,
and that's our strength. We have it in us. And when we live that way, it's like life is real and life is my choice. It's like being proactive. It's not like okay, like it's just going. It's a feeling of
but you have to fight.
But it's worth the fight because it's exhilarating. And even when we one of the reasons
Vicky dies and gives eggs.
He gives eggs, he raises eggs, and
that's what they do. That's true.
He dies to something.
He dies? Maybe he gets caught on the way up.
Yeah, and then he's sent to the soldiers to give him strength.
Amen.
We one of the things about the lulav and Esther that we walk around or that we shake on Sukkot, which I just love. I just say the word Sukkot. Oh, I love it. So
I got to do it one time.
Oh, good. We walk around, and this is like our ammunition. Like we're holding up our rifles. We're holding up our. And in fact, I saw a soldier shaking his rifle. He didn't have, I guess, so he went like that. Yeah.
Wow,
So we shake it, and this is our clay milchama. This is the strength. This is our weapons. These are our weapons, and it says whoever's holding their weapons, they've won the war because we're not giving up. Because we're in there fighting. We're in there. We're not saying it's too much for me. I'm too scared, or I just can't. We're in there, and so we learned this from our father Abraham. And Hashem told Abraham Avinu, your reward is very, very great. Hashem told him, I want you to leave your country and your neighborhood and your father's home and go to a place that I'll show you. He didn't even tell him where. If somebody says, I want you to go to Tel Aviv or to Mexico. Okay, you have a picture in your mind. Okay, I go first a bus and then a train and then a plane. And I have, but go where? Go where? Like where? Like every morning he sort of had to reconnect. Hashem, now where? What's my next step? Hashem, we say in the morning blessings, Hashem mitzvah, who shows us our steps of where we should be every moment. You want me to go? He's like, not GPS. You want to go to the right? Should I make a left here? And now during the situation we learned from Doba that Rabbi Rubashkin said in a place called prison. So Doba just said just now, we're in a time called war. Like it's like, to keep it, you know what I mean? It's like, so in this time called, we often ask ourselves, should I take this bus? Should I go down that street? What should I do? And so Hashem is leading us so much. He's leading our every step. And he led Avram Avinu. We learned from him. We have the strength from Avram Avinu to live this life that we're totally embraced by Hashem and led by Hashem, by His kind, loving, where we're supposed to be and where we're supposed to go. And this is one of the big nisyonos, a big test that Abraham had. Hashem didn't tell him where to go. Eretz Asher Areka, to the land that I will show you. And so he just twirl me around, put up the compass and show, okay, I'll go this way, I'll start, and then what? Every day he'd be, okay, Hashem, which way? North, south, which way? And it's somehow in this period that we're going through, we can feel that closeness to Hashem where He's leading us and He's holding our hand and He's showing us, my dear daughter, this is the way I want you to go today, this year, this moment. And so the order, the Orach Chaim asks on the order is something very interesting because Hashem said, leave your country, leave your neighborhood, so to speak, and leave your father's home. So it's obvious if he left his country, he's no longer in his neighborhood. He would say leave your father's home, okay, that's an address, leave your neighborhood, that's a street, a few streets, and leave your country. Why this order? Because it was the farthest from his heart to the closest. Person leaves their country, okay, as much as I'm an American, left, okay, leave your neighborhood, okay, as much as I love my neighbor where I grew up, Detroit, Oak Park, whatever, wherever you live.
Leave your children.
Yeah, but leave your father's home.
Oh, that's
Leave
not
your
so bad.
home. Leave
but
your.
he wouldn't have
That's,
Leaving your children's much
Leaving
worse.
terror couldn't have been that hard.
I think it's more hurt.
Leaving terror couldn't have been that hard.
well, it was his whole life. It was his
Yeah,
whole life.
that's true.
It's not like
But,
in these days people travel. For a Bas Mitzvah present, you go. Living outside of Israel, you go to Israel, you go to Torah, or you go. And then after high school, you go to India, wherever people go. And people, if they don't travel, at least they see it. This was a different world. A person was born somewhere, stayed. They knew that was all they knew. That was their whole life. They didn't even have a picture of what was Israel then. It was nothing. It was like desert, like just go. And then Hashem said to him something interesting, which we'll get to. He says, and I will bless you, like I'll give you riches. So the Meforshim asked, what's such a big deal that Avram did it? If somebody said to go to India, it'd be hard. But if somebody said there, I'm going to give you $1 billion, million plus, oh, you get on the first train, first plane, you walk there, okay. So he was promised so much. So what was going on in his heart though? That's his greatness. And that Hashem tells us in his heart, or Chaim says this, in his heart, he didn't do it for the promise of gold, on the other side of the rainbow. He didn't do it for all the brachas he's going to get. He did it to make Hashem happy. Did it to make his Father in heaven, our Father in heaven, happy. And when he did that, if we can do the mitzvahs, every mitzvah comes with its rewards. And the rewards are eternal. The rewards are great. It says in the Torah, you should give meiser k'dei litasher, to be able to, you will become rich. It's a promise. So, okay, here, it's like a business deal, so to speak. I'm investing $10, so I can get back whatever. I'm investing 1,000, so I can get back.
I don't understand that. I don't know what you're talking about.
No, you give charity.
Much is on
Nicer.
10%
of your income.
Okay.
What's it?
Oh, I'm sorry. I'll ask Faya. I'm looking forward to seeing you.
That's
I don't-
That's right.
Can you see us or you're
Yes, right.
so oh because you don't, I'm sorry, you don't have a is it,
every week.
so we're gonna try to fix it. Meanwhile, I'll keep the phone on. If you see that it starts to work, hang up. Good.
You give me one
Okay,
anyway.
hope you get to see it.
It means you're not a miser.
I'm not sure how it's working.
You haven't got to give up everything, or you won't be able to buy anything yourself. You can't give up everything, or you won't be able to have anything left yourself.
Money or work, whatever, you give 10% up to charity. Yeah, and then that's not counting that was something else.
I think it's even in the pocket, like,
I don't know why. But maybe she's got the wrong link.
She's on the phone meanwhile.
Ah,
There are certain things, but I'm not sure on that, so, yeah.
With LechLecha?
They're being
My brother's bar mitzvah parsha. I was born. My brother's bar mitzvah parsha. I was like,
I don't know why it's.
well, See what beautiful Hashem promises us. You should give. It says in the law, 1/10 of our earnings, up to 1/5, 1/5, 20%. If we give more, we might. So Hashem gives us a limit, 1/10 up to 1/5.
And that's miser, because you're not a miser.
Yeah, well, it's also a Hebrew word. I'll show you. Yeah, the word miser is a type. Is 10.
Oh, it actually means that.
Yeah.
I thought it meant that you weren't a miser.
Good. So in English it works out. It's all very close. See, the word maaser in Hebrew is like this, and if you, but in the middle is the word eser, 10. May eser, 1 of 10. Maasar, 1 of 10, 1/10. Maaser is made from eser, 10.
Not same as the doctor. I give the doctor as well.
This is different. It's whatever our income is 1/10, and Hashem promises us will become rich when we give maaser 1/10 type.
So every
but we-
time you have 10 shekels, you have to give one away.
Yeah.
Right, okay.
And up to 2. Hashem said, I mean, not more, because then you shouldn't become poor and have to receive. But Avram Avinu did it out of love for Hashem, and so much so that Hashem called him Avram Ohavi, my beloved Abraham. Who wouldn't want such a title? Who wouldn't want Hashem to say that? Hadassah Ohavi, my beloved, Devi Ohavi. Who wouldn't want that? And how do we get that? It's not Bashamayim, it's not far. It's by loving Hashem. By doing things, Hashem, I want you to be happy. So I'm gonna make a shahakol. So I'm going to say, Moidani, I want you to be happy. I want him to sameach. Because I love you so much. And then it's reciprocal. When I see how much Hashem loves me, all I want to do is love him back. All I want to do is what he wants me to do, his will. And then when he sees how much we love him, of course he loves us. He loves us unconditionally, but how much more so when we do the mitzvahs in this fashion. And the big Nisayon, one of the big Nisayonos, it said, the Orach Chaim brings down, Hashem said, go the Eretz Asher Areku, to the land that I'm going to show you. He didn't tell him where. There's a very, very great Nisayon. And it reminds me of when Ruth said to her mother-in-law, Naomi, wherever you go, I'll go. In other words, just lead me. I'll close my eyes. I just want to be led, because I know where you lead me is where I should be, where I want to be. I don't want to be anywhere else. When I was sitting in the sukkah, I'm sure you all felt this. I said, I don't want to be anywhere else. I don't want to go anywhere. What could come close to this? There's nothing. And my son and daughter surprised their 2 teenage daughters. I think yesterday, they thought they're going to see sunrise, like in South, wherever. And they had tickets to go to Prague. And so they drive to the airport, and their 2 daughters say, what? Where are we going? And we don't have clothes. So they said, look, if you want to stay home, you can. They said, no, we'll go. So they went there. They're there for a couple of days, 3 days, I think.
Wait, they didn't pack it.
The mother packed for them.
Oh,
But they said,
their mother packed them.
yeah, it was a surprise. Why they want to surprise them, but it's fun. It's fun,
It's
We're
Prague in Israel?
No, it's in
Where is it?
Czech.
Czech. So it's another country.
Right.
Wow.
Czechoslovakia.
How do they get back?
It's beautiful. I recommend it. It's a beautiful. It's stunning.
We went one trip wherever was in Pittsburgh for Shabbos.
Wow.
So we got cheap tickets with the group that was going to Prague. The group of Israeli, they were going to Prague, so we just hopped along with this
Good.
group. We went to the hotel. We checked
Okay.
in, but we didn't stay there. And then we deserted them.
Did you?
And we went and we took the train and we went to Bratislava for Shabbos.
Great. So use it to get there. For the flight to
Yeah,
the.
that we have to stay there.
Uh-huh, beautiful. So, part of what Avram Avinu teaches us and puts into our heart is where we are today. Today, we're in the middle of this war, and
They took turns. Yeah. And they went over the bridge.
maybe we should turn this one off. This is the thing.
Just
like
like
the,
travel thing.
The travel tunnel.
Yeah, we've got that.
No, no.
Ready?
with the various time zones.
So we're talking about Avram Avinu, and he was told Hashem, go wherever I'll show you. And excuse me, do you mind if we just continue this and then we'll because we have a short amount of time and a lot of what to share. So we're going through this now too in the time of the war. And in the beginning, maybe it was back in November, Iran stormed and ransacked the kever, the burial place of Mordechai and Esther, the story of Purim. And when they heard that, some rabbis said, this is a big problem for Iran. Not to start up, they started up with the wrong people. Because whoever starts up with our people and with our tzaddikim, Mordechai was very, very big, and Esther, started up with the wrong people, and it's not good for them. Like, they made a mistake. So Hashem promised Avram Avinu, and I say to you, go where I'm going to show you, and I'm not telling you where. Because of that, he gave him a reward not to be afraid of anything. He didn't have to fear anyone. And the Or HaChaim goes on to say, wherever you travel in the world, Hashem is going to be with you. You will have hatzlacha, you will succeed wherever you are, because your bracha is based on the fact that you didn't know where you're going. So it's a life of uncertainty, uncertainty. It's like
what's happening now.
What's
Day to day, we don't know.
Yeah. Should we pack? Should some people packed up and left? Should they come home? They came home for 2 days. This uncertainty could gnaw at us and break us down and make us tense, weak, and like full of like what's going to happen. Or it could bring us to the point that it brought Avram Avinu, and we had that strength in us to say, I'm in your hands, Hashem. You want me here right now? I'm here. Where do I go from here? Be my compass. Should I make a right? Should I go there? Should I? And that feeling is so reassuring, and it's in a way very relaxing, and it gives us strength because we're not alone, and Hashem is telling us each step of the way where He wants us to be, and this is the reward that Avram Avinu got from Hashem for just going wherever Hashem told him without knowing where. Like it says in Adon Olam, we sing every morning in the morning prayers, Yado Afkiv Ruchi. In His hands, I'm giving over my ruach, my essence. In other words, just leave me. I just want to be where you want me to be. I want to be in the sukkah. I want to be here learning. I want to do good. I want to be in the right place. And we get this Rubashkin. He said he's in a place called prison. He didn't call it, there's a story about him. He was in prison, and he said, I'm in a place called prison. In other words, I'm with Hashem. Hashem is with me. I remember Reb, who was Zechariah Wallerstein, Zal. Ever since he was around 10, 11 years old, they lived in New York. They came here for Yom Kippur, probably other, maybe Rosh Hashanah, but for sure Yom Kippur every single year. His older brother was becoming bar mitzvah, so the whole family came to daven at the Kosel on Yom Kippur. And it became a family custom. Every year for Yom Kippur, they daven at the Kosel. Here's a man, he's in his 60s, from the time he was under bar mitzvah, in other words, 11 years old, every year at the Kosel, until Corona came. And there were no flights. He couldn't even daven with a minyan. He was at home in his living room, and he said, look, Hashem, for the last 50 years, now you want me to be in the living room alone with you, and I have you all to myself. So there's two ways that a person can be broken. And not enough, I'm not at the Kosel. I'm not in Eretz Yisrael. I'm not even with a minyan. I'm not even in shul. I'm alone. Yom Kippur. So when we think of these great people, these people are alive today. Avraham Avinu, of course, he's our forefather and our ancestor. We gain all our strength and emunah from him. It was a long time ago. On the camels, when we think of Rubashkin, think of Reb Wallerstein. So it's like today, we can get that strength to become infused and to live such a life of closeness to Hashem and of relying on him. So we have here from the Parsha, the first pasuk of our Parsha is chapter 12, pasuk 1. It's on the first page. And who would like to read the Hebrew part of the pasuk? Oh, great.
Volunteer tags.
Vayomer Hashem el Abram.
But maybe, I'm sorry for interrupting, maybe you could do it like line by line
Yeah.
on the first page.
Page 1.
Number
On
one.
the first page.
I got it. If you who could read the English on the other side of the line? Vayom, Chai just read Vayomer Hashem el Avram.
Hashem said to Abraham,
LechLecha me'artzecha,
go out of your country
mimoladatecha,
and your birthplace
mibeis avicha,
and from your father's house
el haaretz asher arecha.
to the land that I will show you.
So in this pasuk alone, we see Hashem didn't tell him where he's going to go, and he gave him that order: first leave your country, which is less close to you. You less associate with, I'm an Englishman. Sure you do, but more than I come from my father's home. It's where I grew up. That was my life, my culture, my childhood memories. Hopefully good. And Hashem told him in that order: leave your country, your neighborhood, your birthplace, and your father's home. Or like you say, your children's home. That's the hardest part. And then what?
Stepfathers. That wasn't very difficult.
Relief, I can say.
I miss my mother, but my stepfather.
Yeah, well, I think we're all happy to leave home.
Mm.
Who doesn't want to? I mean,
It's
most
Hashem.
people do.
We should give good memories for the next generation and be
yeah.
happy where Hashem puts us.
Yeah.
Yeah. Where our new home is. The next pasuk.
Where the heart is.
Always where the heart is. So
Yeah.
the next pasuk is on the next
That means the
page.
whole world.
Your heart is large enough. Yeah. The next page, the Eschat. Want to read it in Hebrew? Oh, okay. Kaya.
Ve'esecha legoy gadol v'avarecha v'agadalta shemecha v'hayei baracha.
I'll make you a great nation. I will bless you. I'll make your name great, and you shall be blessed.
Thank you so much. And this is exactly the pasuk that the Or HaChaim says. I will make your name great. You shall be a blessing. Wherever you go, you bless people. People surround you. They flock around you. You're going to be safe, and you're going to have hatzlacha. You're going to be successful wherever you go. Why? Because when I told you where to go, I didn't tell you a place, a destination. You just believe in me so much and rely on me so much. It's a difference. Some people, there could be a gader, a fence, and you could put your finger against the fence. So it's holding up your finger, but then you could just totally lean on it. And that's what Hashem is for us. And that's what he wants. And we totally lean on him. And we're not worried. We're not worried because we're in his hands. And we know that he's taking us and giving us the best exactly for what we need. And so I remember last week was Noah, and something I like very, very much about Noah, it says the first pasuk, Eila told us Noah, these are the generations of Noah. So what do you think would be the next, if they'd say, if someone would say, these are the generations of Chaya, what would you say?
Children's names.
Children's names. Harvey, Shlomo, and Yankee, right? These are the generations of Chaya. Doesn't say here. Eila told us Noah. This is last week's reading. These are the generations of Noah. Noah, Ish Tzaddik. Noah was a great person. Wait a minute. He's not his child. Yeah, why doesn't it say Shem Yavcham v'Yafetz? It's 3 boys. Why does these are the generations, meaning the children, the offspring, and it goes on to say Noah, because I am my own child, and I don't want to ever lose the child inside of me. So I am my own child. To take care of myself. I am my own child. To love myself and not lose that child like feeling in myself. The Kamin Karav was with Reb Mendel of Rimanov, 2 Hasidic Rebbe's, maybe after the Baal Shem Tov, and they ran out of a drink, like they ran out of soda. So he said, you know what, I'll send my child to get it. Comes back a half hour later with the soda, and he said, I thought you said you're going to send your child. You don't even have a child here to send. So he answered, when I was 13 years old, now I'm becoming an adult, bar mitzvah, 12 for a woman, child inside of me is leaving. I said to myself, that's not good. You have to stick around. Don't go so fast. I want you to be with me in my old age. Because there has to be a little bit of a kid inside of us. Certain Rav in Muncie once said, beautiful, we have to keep all the holidays of the year, the whole cycle of the year, with us all year long, not to let it go. So Purim, what sticks out in your mind when you say Purim?
Dressing up.
Dressing up, being exceedingly happy. Bring a little bit of that the whole year.
Very happy.
Bring that with us the whole year.
Oh.
Shavuos of the Torah, bring that sincerity in the learning the whole year. In other words, keep it alive in us. So why let the child stay back after we turn 13 or 20 or we become an adult, serious and responsible? Let the child come back with us, stay with us. Stay with us.
No shit.
My husband's cooking Shlachmanas, and I was at home preparing food and make sure I'd just been there in case anybody else came. And I was literally at home and he was up and girls were out. And that's I think.
Well, you were left out.
Went to Megillah and had a nice meal
Yes.
together. Somebody had to be at home to prepare food and to be at home if anybody came. That's usually me.
Yeah.
I love Purim because all day long it's such a special day. It's one of the laws of Purim, the halachas of the is that if somebody asks you for money, you have to give them. You don't have to give them a lot. You can give them 10 agura, give them half a shekel. But it says kol haposhet yad nosim lo. It depends if it's 5-year-old asks you or the
Oh,
neighbor.
it's a child. That's different.
But you don't turn anyone.
They fight you.
Right. You have to give them something respectful. I was referring to a child.
5 shekels. It's not like 5 shekels. She went like that. Ooh. And she threw it and spat on it.
On the street, you have to buy a shekels. 10 shekels. At the door. I mean, at the door, you have to give 5 shekels.
Because they came to you, they walked
But
in.
on the street, you can give 1 shekel.
And to a child, you can give on Purim. But the idea on Purim is whoever it says, call a poshet yad, whoever sticks out their hand asking stuff, no singlo, you have to give him. So we can use the same words for our relationship with Hashem. Whoever asks Hashem for anything on Purim, he gives it to us. So all day long, we just be asking for more and more and more.
Out. Really? Yes, they don't. Yes.
I don't
They don't go out, they stay at home because Megillah stay at home.
It's
It's
not
very
nice.
I know it's more
Because that's the time.
I heard from Reb Nelson. He lives in Givat Shoshana.
You see that Shebbes?
Yeah, Reb Zalman Nelson, but sure. So he quoted, stop apologizing, like to appreciate who we are. You don't have to say sorry for how you laugh, how you dress, how you wear your head covering, how you speak. Of course, we should speak modest, kind words, but apologize. You don't have to be sorry for being yourself. You're unique. Celebrate yourself and do it fearlessly. It's time to accept this is you, this is me. And you got to spend the rest of your life with yourself. So you might as well enjoy it. Might as well enjoy your own company. You're not going anywhere because you're coming with you wherever you go. So it's not like, bye, oh, good, she left. It's boring. Or, she leaves, you leave. So start loving everything, your awkwardness, your weirdness, your unique sense of humor, as long as it doesn't hurt anyone. You're everything. It will make your life so much easier and happier to simply be yourself. Of course, we all want to improve and grow at our own pace, but we should enjoy the process. Bring the child with us. We don't have to leave it back. And laugh and be free and be alive and be excited. Ela told us Noah. These are the generations of Noah. And then this week, we come to LechLecha. Noah was 2 days ago on Shabbos. LechLecha was coming Shabbos. And it says Hashem reassures Abraham that he will have a child. And he says to him, come outside and look at the stars. If you could count them, that's how many children you will have. And today we see most of the world is descendants of Abraham. All the Ishmael and Asa, that's all the countries of basically the world. And Hashem gives each star, we call the star, the children of Abraham. And each star has a unique name. It says every single name, it says this in Tehillim, Mona Misva Lokachavim, Lekulam Shem Osipah. Hashem gives each star a unique name. Do you know how many stars there are? There's a lot. I can't count this high, and we don't have enough time between now and next Monday, but hang on. It's 10 to the 23rd.
What's that
Power
mean?
of 23. 10 to the power of 23.
That means if you add 23 zeros after this zero, even more?
10 times 10 times 10 times 10,
Basically,
22 times, or maybe it's 10 times 100 times 1,000 times, I don't know what it is.
It's a lot. You know how many it is? Every
But two of
person
them.
in this world, there's a lot of people in the world. There are 10 million stars for each person. 10 million per person in the world. Each one has a unique name. Now you think, what's the difference? Why bother? Stars, just some gas. It's hydrogen, helium. Like, cares? Who cares? It's a ball of fire. Guess how many? And who cares their name? They're so far away. And Hashem says, if I care so much about a star, so many of them, and what are they? A ball of fire? How much imagine I care about you? How much imagine I care about each of his daughters? And so when we think of that we're lost or left alone, or we're scared, or what's going to be tomorrow, and which way should I go, and where should I go? And he's with us the whole time, and he loves us so very, very much. A million times. I mean, how much more than the stars? Like you can't compare.
And do the stars die when that person dies?
That's a very good question.
Well, I just wondered if they still stay there forever or they die out themselves. Stars don't live forever, do they? I think if they're ejected, they go.
Well, it's still tied to the
They don't
star.
live forever, they burn out.
Yeah, so we burn out when the life force of that person is finished, then that life
Like this,
goes out.
The sun's tied to the star, though. It looks to be. So,
Per person, wow. So
So
people are being born always.
Yeah.
So there's 10 million stars per birth. So
So when they get born, those stars come into existence. They weren't there before. Right, they're new stars.
interesting.
They're
Yeah,
born, new
interesting.
stars.
Very
Oh, I
interesting.
didn't know that.
So
not recycled.
it's like the stars. Hashem told Abraham, go and look.
And they're all in different positions. Oh, so astrology is true.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
Yeah, but the sun is a star, isn't it? Cast a star that it gives
Yeah.
its moon like the moon. That's what the moon is not a star.
And they must be unique for each person. The position.
The star.
We'll call it maximum.
One other thing Hashem told, or many others, one of the other things Hashem told Abraham in this parsha is go outside, it said about Israel, the land of Israel, go look at it, look to the north and to the south and west and east. And that's going to be the land of Israel. And there was a miracle that happened here, because usually if I say look north and south, west and east, I can't just do it. I have to turn around, right?
Which
Because
way?
it's opposite.
Opposite.
Opposite, north, south, it's opposite.
Not
And
the way
the
you're saying.
miracle was that Abraham didn't have to turn around.
I couldn't do it without a compass. In which way?
It's like an owl doesn't have to turn around.
His
His head can turn the full circle. An owl.
Wow.
An owl can see in all directions.
My mum said she could do that as well. We had it like a back edge.
Yeah, they can see in all directions. It's amazing, isn't it?
So the Orach Chaim said this was a miracle. We're like an owl because when Hashem said, look straight north, look south, look west and east, he did not have to turn around. This was a miracle. And Hashem was telling him, don't worry. I'm taking care of you. You don't have to worry about the enemies behind you. Like today, we're worried about the north, Hezbollah, and the south. And we're worried. And we're worried of these enemies on multiple fronts. And Hashem is telling us, you won't be vulnerable. Your back won't be to anyone. You have to worry that someone's behind you and they're going to, God forbid, attack. I have your back. I'm taking care of you in every single direction. So like, just relax. And Azaka, yesterday, we went to Tveria to visit our daughter. Her son is turning 3, and he went to Cheder. It's such a beautiful custom. They write the Aleph. They have an Aleph base, the whole Aleph base, and he reads every letter. When they get to Tzaddik, they go, Abraham is a Tzaddik, a righteous little boy. And then he licks it. The rabbi, the teacher, these 3-year-olds, puts honey on the Aleph, the Mem, and the Saf. That's the first letter, the middle letter, and the last. And it spells MS, truth. And then he licks the honey off the and it's just beautiful. They're so pure. And I just daven that he should always enjoy the Torah and love the Torah and feel its sweetness, him and all Jewish children, as they are when they're 3. And he sits as he's so excited. So there was an azakah, there was a siren in Tveria. There hadn't been one for a couple weeks. So my daughter said, Mommy, what you came and there's a siren. So I said, Devorah, I appreciate your hachnas zarching. You treat me so well. You're such a great host. You take care of your guests. You make me feel at home. You give us food, delicious food that we're used to. You give us a place to relax on the couch. It's comfortable. You also managed to give us a siren.
Yes, we used to.
So we should feel at home. I said, you didn't have to do that. It's going above your, being a kind host. I was joking. Anyway, there's this beautiful story about the Baal Shem Tov that I heard yesterday. I just love. And it's a skula when we hear stories, especially about Shem Tov, particular a skula for Hashem to protect us. So there was a paritz. A paritz is a non-Jewish landowner. And there's stories about them that they were very strict and very cruel, harsh and cruel to the people that rented their land if they couldn't pay the bill. They would throw the father, the mother, the kids into like a dump, like into a pit, and force them and not give them food until they. So one such landowner said, "This isn't helping if they're in the pit. They're not going to pay the bill from there." He took them through this city and said, look at them. Somebody help them, give them money because they're in trouble. I'm not feeding them. They didn't pay their bill. Help them pay the rent. And there was a yatom, is a orphan, a boy, a teenage boy, young 20s. And he had saved up a lot of money. He had no father. And he'd saved it towards his wedding. And he felt so badly for this family. He gave all the money that he had worked for years in order to get them out of the pit and to take them out of being captivity. And the parrots, the landowner, said it's not enough money, but he wouldn't return it. So then there was Yitoma, a girl orphan, and she did the same thing. She knew what it felt like not to have a home. And she said she wants this family to have a home again. She gave all the money she had worked for a few years, saved up penny after penny, gave it all to the parrots, to the landowner, and it was enough. So they came out of captivity, out of the pit. And there was a big rush, a big tumult, a big excitement in heaven. What beautiful children, maybe teenagers in their 20s, that they gave up. They needed this. There's no one to support them. They didn't have, Vad Tzedakah that we have. How are they going to live? And the Baal Shem Tov came to town, and he was so proud and pleased and so emotional. He said, let's make a shidduch between this orphan boy and orphan girl. And they met, and the boy said, sounds wonderful, but how am I going to live? I gave away all my money to save this family. Baal Shem Tov said, don't worry. You don't have to worry. So they had a wedding, and the Baal Shem Tov was the Sadar Kedushin. He was the he officiated at the chuppah. And great people, great rabbis came to the wedding, and they had a custom in those times that at the wedding, people would say what they're going to give, which gift they're going to give to the new bride and groom. And so one said, I'm going to give all the barns and all the cows of this parts of this landowner. And another said, I'm going to give all the gold and diamonds of his wife. She had a big jewelry box full of.
How can you give something that belongs to somebody
Exactly,
else?
exactly. Thank God. And then the Baal Shem Tov says that I'm going to give the inn of the parts. And the Kala looks at her husband, her new husband. She said, what's this joking about? Why are they making fun of us? What's going on? Is it Purim? And he calmed her down. He said, no, this is what we do, like to make it happy at a wedding. People talk and it's like singing and dancing in a happy way.
You can't.
Right. Nobody meant it. And this is what goes on at weddings. People just like, I'll give the world, I'll give the stars. Anyway, hang on. But after the wedding, they're back to zero. How are they going to buy breakfast? How are they going to eat? He doesn't have a penny. She doesn't. So he remembers he has a very rich uncle in the city, a few cities away. They borrow somebody's horse and buggy wagon, and they go off and on their way, they hear somebody screaming, help, help. He jumps out of the wagon, and he sees a boy is drowning, teenage boy. And he picks him up out of the water. He resuscitates him. He brings him back to life. And he says, who are you? I'll bring you home. Who is he? He's the Parrots' son. So they bring him to his father and mother, who are beside themselves. They're crying their heads off. Where's our son? He disappeared. He had gone on a fun ride, and the wagon went over the bridge, and he landed in the water, in the river underneath. And he was, God forbid, this boy, the new chassan, he saved him, and he brought him to his parents, and they were beside themselves, firstly with grief and worry, and then with, thank you, you saved our son's life. I can't believe it. So the parrot says, I'm going to give you my inn, my barn with all the cows. And Mrs. Parrot said, I'm going to give you all my jewelry, my diamonds. Thank you, you saved her. And then the parrot says, I'm going to give you the inn also. So all those joking came true from Hashem. Yes, and also the mitzvah that they did, this poor orphan. And I heard this story like last November, the beginning of the war, that a girl, or also an orphan, had worked many years to save up money when she gets married, and she gave it all for tzitzis for the soldiers. What was it, 12,000 shekels? It was a nice amount. And then a rich man from America said, I'm going to pay for your wedding when you get engaged, and give buy you a home. I wonder if she got married yet.
Sure.
Annoying sound. And there's another short story. Another short story, which I love. My husband heard it from a Rav who was in 770 in Brooklyn for all of Tishrei. It's about Reb Levi Yitzchak Barditchev. A chassid was there, and he learned a new nigun, a new song by Reb Levi Yitzchak, and he loved the song, and he's afraid he's going to forget it. So what does he do? How does he remember? How's he going to remember the song, the tune? You could lose it, right? They didn't have anywhere to put it in, So he's singing the whole way home. Let's say the tune is, I was by Rabbi Levi Yitzchak Barditchev, I was by Rabbi Levi Yitzchak Barditchev. And the wagon driver, after a while, 1 hour, 2 hours, getting sick of it and starting to drive him crazy. He says, could you stop singing? He says, no. And he keeps singing. He says, if you don't stop singing, at the next stop, I'm going to take all your suitcases and put it down. So he's singing, I was at Rabbi Levi Yitzchak, to try to remember the tune. I was at Rabbi Levi Yitzchak Barditchev, sing. So at the next stop, the next station, he takes all his suitcases and puts it down. The man keeps singing, I was at Rabbi Levi Yitzchak of Barditchev, and they're not my suitcases. Two over the wrong end. I was at Rebbe Levi. Yitzhak got partition and they're not nice. He's remembering the tune. And he's getting more and more upset with wagon drivers. So he says, if you don't stop singing, I'm going to put you down at the next station. Sure enough, he's singing. I was by Rebbe Levi. Yitzhak got partition. I. He throws him off the wagon and he says, and this is my station. I don't think I think to remember the tune. And it's such a sweet story. What do you hear sweet stories? They're not complicated. They're not like infused with, like what's your agenda? And I wonder, what does it teach us though? What do you feel from this story? What do you get from it? It's a start. Yeah. He was so happy to be by a big tzaddik. The lady said, it gave him so much life. And he wanted to remember the tune there because music is like above words. It's tshuva, music, nagina, music and tshuva are next to each other in heaven. And everything worked out. Everything worked out, It wasn't his suitcases. He got off at the right stop. And the joy.
Because he got chucked.
Yeah, he was allowed.
Tough black on the guy from suitcases. It was.
Yeah, that's true.
So this is a story he heard in 770 this past month. He was there for a month, the Rav. So we can take with us from life a song. The joy of having been sukkahs here in Tzfat, having been sukkahs in a sukkah, and just keep singing. I was the Rebbe Levi, it's like,
Anyway, I can't blame it. I'd have my anxiety levels going through the roof.
Oh, the driver, yeah. Also for the anxiety, reminding me where Abraham Avinu was, and we're in a time called war. It doesn't have to define us. It doesn't have to take up our 24/7. When there's an azakah, firstly, I say alarm.
Yes,
Please could this be the last one for good reasons. And if it's going to be the last one, not that I'm like going to be disappointed, but I'm hoping, we can all hope, right? I want to get my money's worth this azakah from this alarm. I want to use it to the fullest because that's it. Mashiach is next, so peace, but real peace. So I just try to in that azakah get my money's worth. Shem, what do you want me to do? Why did you send it? Last week I slept through. When was it? I don't remember. Thursday night, whatever it was. I slept through it.
The last one now.
Yeah. So usually I wake up from it.
Last night.
I don't think it's not bad.
Last night
And then
we
I
had
had-
sleep about 11, and
Yeah.
that they have other lunches and they're on the clock, So they didn't change their clock. We changed the clock.
They're still back.
No, so that's why they were coming at 11 o'clock at night, not at 12. They were coming at 12. Then they were coming at 11 because we changed the clock back. So I was feeling like, we changed the clock, so 11 o'clock, so we go to bed about 11, so we could stay up. So after that, and then we could go to sleep, at least not waking us up.
Yeah.
So last night, we went we didn't have today what sometimes we have.
You don't
So
say the
he
word.
said, what did we have? I said, we didn't have today, Baruch Hashem, what sometimes it's
That's an ass.
sometimes we get talking that we get, and we didn't have it today. I said, what didn't we have today? So I didn't say anything.
Good. You don't give it,
Yeah, no, we just didn't have it. We went to sleep. And then it was like 12:15, whatever. We had the alarm. And he goes, oh. So he started laughing. I said, yeah. He started laughing. Oh, that's what we didn't have. Well, now we got it. I have here, I was sitting next to my. I was sitting next to my.
Hello, fine, Representative. How are you? I loved you with your son.
I wanted to give him this.
Oh.
I wanted to exchange.
well. But no, that's okay. Okay. Now we need to speak to City Zoom. Doing. Mr. Zoom, please may you work. Please. See?
In California 10 years ago. Like, a whole collection of stuff. Wow.
Not working. I don't know if it's recorded Miriam. I
Right,
WhatsApp
people said
video
they-
called Batia, so she got Miriam. Now we need to see. Especially up in it, and he wants to go to River Wangel.
Yeah, I know, can you do it from the, I changed a name, I didn't change the meeting, I just was changing the name,
Yeah.
a slot, and it disappeared from recurring meetings. So if you can you go to the email and
Yeah.
get it from there?
Mail.
The only way, I couldn't find it any other way. Yeah. Yeah, I just told somebody. Yeah, that's amazing.